All right. Good morning and welcome. Welcome indeed to another edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast right here on the beautiful Space Coast area of Florida. And we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Also, tonight, just want to give this shout out before we go to this fine gentleman, Mr. Tim Walters. Tonight, we're going to be at Walk On Sports Bistreaux in Vieira for our official draft party. And yes, Walk On Sports Bistreaux is home to the $5 Tito's all day, every day at Walk On's Vieira. Okay, I'm going to get there around 7:30. We're going to play our game. You can win tickets to Welcome to Rockville coming up in May there in Daytona. I also have, make sure Tim sees this as well. All right, I'm not proposing to you. Sorry. This is from the Highland Mint. This is an official NFL draft coin made right here in Brevard County at the Highland Mint. So that's coming up tonight, Walk On Sports Bistreaux. I know Tim likes to get buffalo wings there. Tim Walters, Mr. 321 with the Florida Today. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, don't forget the mozzarella logs and the boom boom shrimp. It's all good at Walk-Ons. We love going there. I wish I could join you tonight, but kind of like Santa on Christmas Eve when the draft comes around, you know, I got a whole team of people with the working on the Jaguars tonight. So I will be at home editing and posting and boosting and trying to figure out the Google monster so our stories will show up higher than everybody else's. But Mark, it's a great day, and tomorrow's payday, so it couldn't be any better.
Yeah, for you jerk. Yeah, I don't get payday tomorrow. I imagine the way you said boom boom shrimp. Okay, here's what I picture. So you're in the Old West. It's one of these like gritty westerns starring Clint Eastwood, right? And he goes into the saloon and the bartender, and you always have to do this move. The bartender's cleaning one of the mug glasses. You always do that move. What it'll be, stranger? And you're like, give me whiskey, dirty glass, with a side order of boom boom shrimp, please. That's what I imagine. Exactly what it sounded like.
That's right. I'm going to tie the horses up to the mozzarella logs, and we're going to eat some boom boom shrimp.
Yeah, Sam Elliott's there as well. Yeah, give me some whiskey. Yeah, whiskey. And I want a beer from a dirty bottle. And some boom boom shrimp, please. Do you have any more napkins? Where are the straws at? That's what I meant.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood are singing Paint Your Wagon. No.
That's an old school Simpsons joke. That's what that is right there.
That's also a real movie that confused a lot of people a long time ago. So
yes, it did. All right. Before we get to the magic and the draft, I'm sorry. I have been waiting. I'm not kidding around. I've been waiting like 7 days to go over this story with you. And I could have done it. I could have broken down this story with other great journalists. No. I have to bring this up with Tim Walters. I have to. So as we all know, there was a bar in downtown Melbourne that was filmed and featured on Bar Rescue. The episode has not been released yet. I believe that can take months before we'll actually see it on television. But the John guy from Bar Rescue, as I'm doing the air quotes, he was there all last week. And Friday night, thousands upon thousands of people showed up in downtown Melbourne to see the big unveil, what the bar is going to be called. So it's been Hurricane Creek. I know the owner, Randy. He's a good dude. He was on there. They renamed it the Neon Rodeo. And yes, people are saying, why isn't the sign actually neon if it's going to be Neon Rodeo? And I swear, Tim, and I'm just trying to set this up for the three people that just woke up from a coma who don't know this story. Okay. Everyone and their mother, including their dog, have given their opinion on this story and the name. And I posted it Saturday morning. So many comments on my Facebook page. Okay. I've come up with names that I would have gone with if I was Bar Rescue. I know you have put your list together as well. How about we do this? I'll start with what my coworkers said it should be called. Should we start there with their names?
Sure. I have three categories. I have my others, I have my outside looking in, and I have my top five. So maybe you can do part of one. I can do part of one.
Okay. The most obvious one is keep calling it Hurricane Creek. That's the number one. I'm getting a lot of that, which is a great name. It is a great name. Another coworker chimed in. Big Whiskey. That should be what the bar's. Big Whiskey. But do you serve whiskey there? That'd be the kicker for that. Okay. John's Bar. That's from my engineer, John. He just wants to call everything John. John's book, John's podcast, John's Bar. Country Line, because I know we have a world famous, the county line, country line. Just would you do something crazy like that? So those are some of the suggestions. They did not make my top 5. What are yours? Well, before we get to your top 5, what were the other ones you had?
All right. So how about shots fired?
Boo!
That's why these didn't make the top 5.
No.
I was trying to think of what country folk may call women. How about the Philly special?
The Philly. Okay. Hey, you want to go get a beer? Yeah. Where you want to go? Should we go downtown? Yeah. How about Philly special? Nah, I only go there on Thursdays. Like, what? Is that what you're saying? Okay, what's the next one? What are you going
All right, this one's near and dear to my heart. How about the Optimus Crime?
Oh. Is it a Transformers bar? Where
but they're all country themed Transformers. So imagine Optimus wearing boots.
There's a new Transformer I saw. They're going to come out with the NFL where I think it's a mascot. So the mascot for teams transform into a Transformer.
It's actually the helmets, Mark, and the first wave will feature Kansas City, the Steelers, Green Bay, and the Dallas Cowboys. So those will be the 4 coming out later this year. All
right, I'm going to make a new rule for this show. I'll never bring up Transformers headlines to you because you already know them. I can't. I give up. All right, I'm sorry. Do you have any more before your top 5?
I have an outside looking in. These 3 were not bad, but they didn't quite make my top 5. So how about the sit and drink? It's simple. It's telling you what you're going to do. You're going to sit and drink.
I'm sorry. I apologize. We're here on the live stream here with Tim Walters, Florida Today. Tim, I cannot hear. What was the one you just said? Say it again.
Sure. The sit and drink. It's very simple. It tells you what you're going to do. You're going to sit and drink.
Yeah, mine would be sandwich and complaining about sports teams then. That's what my bar would be called. Okay. Those are not sip and drink.
Pinky up. Drink.
Yeah, pinky up. We're going to be drinking. Any other ones before your top 5?
Not sip, sit, S-I-T, sit and drink. It's much easier.
I'll build one across the street. Sit and drink to go against you.
All right. How about shots at noon?
Okay, I'm listening. All right. This is the brainstorming. All right, that's not bad. What's next?
All right, my last for the outside looking in. Yeehaw Junction.
Yeehaw Junction. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Isn't that a real place? I just want to say something here. Isn't there? Okay, you take 60 across. Vero Beach, 60 across the 2-lane highway. Isn't that what that's called? Yeehaw Junction.
I believe it meets, what is that, 441, and then you can head north or south out there?
Yeah, because that's how I get to Lakeland, where I see a bunch of my relatives. Yeehaw Junction, eh? Yeah, you know what? You are a brainstormer. I like this. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. I will go to my top 5. Are you ready for this?
Why don't we do this, Mark? You do 5, I do 5. You do 4, I do 4.
Okay. I will start. We're here with Tim Walters with the Florida Today. He is also, if you're watching this, wearing his Mr. 321 shirt. Man, this is the problem you've done. You are now wearing creative shirts for the last 3 weeks. So now you're going to have to do it moving forward. Do you have the budget to get this done moving forward?
No, and I used to have a shirt person who printed this up, but I no longer do. So if you're out there and you make shirts and want to make me a Mr. 321 shirt, hey, can I say their name on the air if they send me a shirt, Mark?
Yeah. And then you need to cut off the sleeves. I want to see the guns out. Guns out, Mr. 321. Okay. All right. So here's what usually happens at Hurricane Creek. On Sundays during the NFL season, they become a very successful Cleveland Browns watch party. I am not kidding around. They get a lot of people there. I give credit to Hurricane Creek or whatever they're called now. Them, like, seriously, they get a lot of people. So at number 5, it will be called the Country Bar, but not on Sundays, because Sundays during the NFL season were a Cleveland Browns watch party. And that whole thing is going to have to fit on the sign. That is number 5 for what it needs to be. What is your number 5?
The Saggin' Wagon.
Okay, let me write this down. Okay. Saggin' Wagon. Is it a retired man who used to be on the saddle and now he's sagging wagon? It sounds like this should be like in some type of you know what? This is a family show. I was about to say a joke. I'm not going to do it.
Well, normally you walk into a bar all happy and ready to go, and by the time you're leaving, you're sagging a little bit. So the sagging wagon.
It sounds like it would be in a Hims commercial. Like, are you sagging wagon? Do you need help in the bedroom? So number 4. Liquor stores usually do this, where the store will just say liquor store or liquor. So I say you go that lazy. Just call it bar or country bar. Just go with that. Just bar, right? Hey, where are we going? We're going to the bar. Which one? Isn't there like the burger place downtown? Hey, where'd you go? Let's go to that burger place. Bar. Just call it, hey, we're going to the bar. Country bar. I'm going with that. What's your number 4?
And you could, and this isn't on my list, but you just helped come up with a great idea. Since they were rescued by Bar Rescue, they could call it Bar Rescued.
Yeah. All right. Let me write. Okay. We're adding this to the list. Bar Rescued. Okay.
All right. So number 4 on my list is
number 4. What do you got?
Prairie Dog in it.
I like this show is sponsored. And we're coming up with these names. Okay. Prairie. It's better than raw dogging it. Okay. Prairie dog. Okay. Prairie. Is it prairie dogging it or prairie dog?
Doggin. Prairie Dog in it.
My favorite part is, if you're new to the show, I texted Tim about 8:30 this morning. Hey, we're doing a top 5. You're like, no problem. And you just like stopped everything you did and you started working on this. Okay.
In fairness, you actually gave me the heads up about the top 5 only about 45 minutes before taping. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, number 3 here with Tim Walters, with what we should call the bar, what Bar Rescue should have called the bar in downtown Melbourne. Okay. This is a layered joke. You got to stay with me on this because I love Street Fighter. And as we were kids, Street Fighter would constantly update their name, where it was Street Fighter 2, Champion Edition, Turbo, Super, then Super Turbo. It never ended. So I would go the best country bar in Brevard. I would call it that. You'd be that arrogant. We are the best. Hey, where are we going? To the best country bar in Brevard. Then when people get sick of that name, then we update it. Then it could be the best country bar in Brevard, Super Turbo. Then it can be super best country bar in Brevard. Okay? Like it could be the remix. Just like, I'm laughing. Like it's some Japanese anime. Okay? It's Dragon Ball Z. So the best country bar in Brevard, Super Turbo. And I would go down to the bank and I would say, I need a loan. What are you going to call your establishment? Best country bar in Brevard, Super Turbo. That's what it would be. And it's ladies' night every night. That's number 3. What's yours?
Not bad. I like the best country bar in Brevard, the Super Turbo. There was never a cowboy or country themed fighter in Street Fighter. So,
yeah, you're right. Okay, so you want to be, I'm listening now. So Ryu and Chun-Li and Zangief, like M. Bison, Balrog, there's going to be a new character. It's Morgan Wallen, rowdy country guy who's going to throw chairs at you and just start punching you out. That's what you want.
Yeah, his name would be Steel Toe, and he'd kick you with his steel-toed boots.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Steel Toe, very nice, new character. What is your number 3, buddy?
All right, number 3 may be the worst on my list, but I had to get something cattle-themed in there. How about the Moo Moo More Brew?
Is his Boom Boom Shrimp on the menu as well? Is that what's on it? All right. All right. Say it one more time. I got to write this down.
The Moo Moo More Brew.
How did you even think of that?
I have no idea.
All right. At number 2, Hurricanes. Hey, we're going to Hurricanes. Yeah, hey, we're going to Hurricanes. Now, Eric, my coworker, says no. He turned it down because he says Florida State and Gator fans would not want to go there. Stop it. Just stop it. Okay. If there is a bar and it's filled with hot ladies who want to mingle with you, you're not going to be like, sorry, bro. No, I'm sorry. There's Hurricane fans. Stop it. Stop it right away. I'm going with Hurricanes at number 2. No joke. As a modified Hurricane Creek, Hurricanes. What's your number 2?
Or Neon Hurricanes.
All right, Neon Hurricanes. So
All right.
what's number 2?
I like my number 2. How about Shots and Giggles?
Shots? Is it a comedy bar? Like stand-ups played there?
Yeah, country comics. Like You Might Be a Redneck If.
Oh, you know what? That's not bad. Okay, so like, it's like Larry the Cable Guy will be performing Thursday and Friday night at Shots and Giggles. That's not bad. Okay, I think the bank will be interested in our loan. That's a good idea. Okay, number 1. These are great names, by the way. Number 1. I know we'll get sued by the movie company, but look, the greatest name of any bar in fiction. I'm sorry. You got to call yourself the Double Deuce, the greatest rowdy country bar of them all. How I don't understand this. How is that not franchised as actual bars across the country? We have Bubba Gump Shrimp as a restaurant. I don't know why, but we do. From a movie from 30 years ago, you see at Universal, Bubba Gump Shrimp restaurant everywhere. Every state has one. How do we not have Double Deuce as a country rowdy bar franchise? Explain it to me, buddy.
Because probably too many people would go there and want to fight and break things.
Have you ever been in a bar? There's a band playing, but then there's kind of like the chicken wire, right? There's the fence, because the Jeff Healey band's playing at the Double Deuce. Because in what is it? The Blues Brothers movies, there's also a scene where they're playing and there's the fence over the band so that you can't throw beer bottles and hurt them. Have you ever been in a bar like that before?
No, I can't say that I have, Mark, luckily. I was at a rotator bar up north of the University of Florida past Gainesville, and you would sit down at this giant circular bar, and it slowly rotated. So after like an hour, you're like halfway across on the other side of the room. It can be disorienting, especially after a few drinks, and when you want to find the bathroom, it used to be on your left, and now it no longer is. Yeah, so I've been at a rotator bar, but not one where there are like gatings and chicken wire to stop you from hurting the band playing.
I want to see one. I don't care. I want to see, before I die, it's on the bucket list. I want to be in such a rowdy, just like Brothers Roadhouse. Could Roadhouse be a bar name? Could you do that, Tim? Could the bar be named Roadhouse? Could you do that?
I'm sure there are a lot of those out there, though.
Yeah. I'm going to go to a bar and it's going to be so rowdy that I want to see the fence over the band. Because I've been to a bar where there's bras from the chandelier. We all know where that is in Brevard County. But have you ever been in a bar and an all-out brawl broke out in front of you? Have you seen
Not an all-out brawl, but I was in a place in Ocala once, which was kind of a country-ish type bar, and there was this really drunk, obnoxious guy playing pool, and you put your quarters down and you play at the pool table. Well, he was being a little bit too mouthy with one of the guys playing, and I've never seen this guy and then you just saw this guy fall like a tree, and then he got down and just started to pummel him. Well, my friend who was with me, he was about 6'4", really big guy. He at least went over and said to the guy beating him up, he's like, hey, I think he's had enough. But the funniest part was this guy gets up, drunk, bloodied, puts his jacket over his shoulder, and stumbles out of the bar like he was in a movie as if he was the coolest guy around. It was both comical and jarring at the same time.
Oh, man. That's how they review Tim Walter's articles as well. Funny and jarring. Well, that's what it is. No, you're a true professional. You are. When I lived in Iowa, I lived in I lived in Marshalltown, which is a town about 30,000 people, and it was right by Ames, Iowa, which is home of Iowa State University, and right by Des Moines as well, which is a big city. So, well, compared to Marshalltown, it was. I would go to bars, and I swear, I would see some rowdy, you know what, rowdy. I was at a table once with my coworker, my morning guy. We're at a booth, and it's like it's one of those things when you see it in real, like you see, okay, we watch a Van Damme movie or whatever. When you see it, like you just said, when you see it in real life, it's kind of like, is this really happening in front of me? There was one time, so we're at the booth, we're having a beer, we're having a nice time. Two guys start tackling each other. One guy picks the other guy up, throws him on our table, smashes the table. Okay, this is what happened right in front of us. So my instincts kick in. I grab the guy and throw him off the table, which was broken. Okay. Then the bartender behind the bar, you could tell he's been trained in this. He's ready. He literally is like, that's it. Jumps on top of the bar and kind of spears both guys like Goldberg and wrestling. So this happened in the span of about 15 seconds. It was bizarre. I saw other guys punch other people out. I saw a guy try to punch a cop. No, that's not going to end well for you. Okay. I've seen that. I was telling to my coworker, Eric, before. One time, I know you're like completely quiet now listening to these stories. You love this. So, and Iowa's a very nice place to live. Just don't go to the bars I went to. So my coworker, who's our news director, Chuck at the time, he's like, Mark, I'm going to take you to a great bar and you're going to meet the coolest bartender in all of the county. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. Maybe I've told you this before on the radio. So we get to this bar. And this is a nice bar. Woman's working behind the bar. You can tell she's in her 50s. She still has the same haircut she's had since 1985 when it was still, popular then. This woman turns around. Nice lady, nice smile, hook hand. She was a bartender with the hook hand. Okay. I know what you're thinking. How does she pour the beer? I know all the questions are going through your mind right now, dude. So the hook hand would hit the right. So the left hand would hold the mug, right hook hand would then somehow pour it. Okay. Nicest lady. But you're like, how did you get the hook hand? How do you do it? What do you do? There's so many questions. It was one of those moments in my life where you're like, okay, the world is a very interesting place. It's like I had my bar mitzvah and when I was a kid. This was one of those other moments where it's like, yeah, the world's awesome. It is. Again, one of the coolest ladies. I don't care if you're some bartender that's like shooting flame and you're like cocktail like Tom Cruise, right? Nobody beats that lady. Nobody, Tim. I dare. I know you've been to bars in Gainesville. Nobody beats the lady I just brought up. No one.
No, I've never seen a bartender with a hook hand.
Yeah. There was another guy. Okay, so at that bar where it's like all the fights, there was a guy that he was in his 60s. Coolest dude you'll ever meet. Okay, so he shaved off his eyebrow, right? And then he had a spider web tattoo there. So he was in some type of biker gang. Ho. You think you're a tough guy? No, that guy was tough. Spider web eyebrow tattoo. Beat that, Tim.
I don't think I'm tough, though, so no.
All right. After telling all those stories, Iowa, what is number one on your list for bars that should have been named in downtown Melbourne?
This one, I tell you, this one's got to exist somewhere, but it came to me. I thought it would be a great number one for this particular list. How about the Redneck Deck?
The Redneck Deck. That's what you would call it. What was your other ones? What did you say? I wrote down all your names. Now I can't even read.
That's all right. So we had the Saggin' Wagon, Prairie Dog in it, Moo Moo More Brew, Shots and Giggles, or the Redneck Deck.
Redneck Deck. Yeah, you're the Moo Moo Brew. It's for cows.
Moo Moo More Brew.
I apologize. I'll get it right. I think I like the best country bar in Brevard. I like that and country bar, but not on Sundays during the NFL season because those days were a Cleveland Browns watch party. That's what it needs to be. And that's the whole sign. The whole sign is that.
The letters need to start out big and then get smaller with each line until you can
exactly
barely
what.
read
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Have you ever gone line dancing before?
Funny story about that, Mark. So I've never actually gone to a bar to do line dancing on purpose,
Oh,
but one
on
time,
purpose. On purpose. Let's clarify. So
a
what?
very long time ago, I was working at Arby's. Yes, the
Mm,
nice little Arby's there on Rockledge. Everyone knows where it is on US 1. That's where I worked when I was in high school. They were rebranding Arby's sometime around 1993 or 4, where their slogan was "Go West." And they had this song about real cowboy boots, getting back to our roots, go west. I remember it. They made us go to this training where all the employees at Arby's went to this little hall in Rockledge and we had to line dance together. That's the
no,
one time I've line danced, and it was
no.
over beef and cheddars.
Oh man, you're the greatest man to ever live. Oh man, you still know these moves 30 years later. Can you do them for us?
No, but I could sure go for some curly fries right now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're here with Tim Walters with the Florida Today newspaper. He's Mr. 321. You could see it on his shirt. And by the way, it also says it on the screen. Tim Walters, Mr. 321. He's joining me here on the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Hey, take back control of your life. Call them today. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And don't forget also, we are going to be at Walk On Sports Bistreaux this evening in Vieira for my draft watch party. I'm going to get there on 7:30. Draft starts at 8. We're going to be giving away tickets to Welcome to Rockville and official draft coins from the Highland Mint. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tim can't go. He's going to be too busy partying up at the Moo Moo Bar Club or whatever you said, earlier. What is it?
I will not be prairie dogging it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Moo Moo More Brew. That's what it's going to be. That's a great name. That I'm gonna make. You know what? I'm gonna make that as a T-shirt. I'm gonna wear it. No one's gonna understand that joke except you, and that's what it's all about. Are you excited as we transition? We just went 26 minutes on bars. Are you ready for the draft tonight?
Yeah, sure. With the Jaguars got the number 5 overall pick. There's some thought that they may end up trading a little bit further down in the draft because there are several people that they like that are probably in the top 12 or so. A couple out of Michigan. So if they stay with number 5, they're probably going to take Mason Graham. They could take what's his name? I believe it's Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan as well. Some people think they could surprise everyone, and with that number 5 pick, take Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, who's from Jacksonville, so he's a local, or at least he was born locally. So, it's going to be fun tonight. Hopefully the Jaguars stay with number 5. That'll make it a little bit quicker night for me, at least, because the last few years they've been in the 20s. So that makes for a bit of a later night. But, we'll have our reporter, Demetrius Harvey, will be writing the main story about the draft pick. We've got Gene Fournette, our columnist, who after 45 years is retiring next week. He'll be grading each of the picks. And then we will have, Gary Smits, one of our reporters. He's going to be at Shad Khan's Beachside Bar and Grill, where they've said it's a 21 and up draft party. So no children allowed at Shad Khan's Beach Bar during the draft tonight. So we're going to have all sorts of really cool stuff. And then, of course, you got the 2nd and 3rd round tomorrow. You've got the 4th, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th on Saturday. Yeah. So it's all going to be at jacksonville.com. You could also find our reporting. We'll be posting some of it at floridatoday.com. We own the Palm Beach Post. They'll be covering the Dolphins draft. USA Today has what's called buckswire.com. And so they will have your Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff. You can get it all with our network, Mark. It starts with us for the Jaguars at jacksonville.com. And that's one of the 2 papers that I oversee, as well as here in Brevard County at floridatoday.com.
Follow up. Is the bar actually called Shad Khan's Beach Bar? We're coming up with bar names. Is that what it is?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't recall what the name of it is, but I don't think it's anything as fun as Moo Moo More Brew.
No, is your bar going to be called Mr. 321s? And is it a nightclub for the people?
Oh, yeah. Mr. 321. It's a place for everybody. Hopefully we get some space engineers come in. They can tell. What would it look like if a bunch of space engineers got into a bar brawl?
I'm trying not. I'm trying. You saw me in real time calculating the comeback. I'm trying to do. It'd be
It's a
very.
heck of a question.
It'd be very thorough and calculated, right? They'd be like Batman, where they'd have a plan. They'd be ready to do this. It wouldn't be a drunken idiot move like I would make. No, this would be a good move. I mean, what do you think it would be?
Maybe they would just bust out with their battle bots and duel each other with remote controls.
I'd go to that bar. That'd be awesome. Hey, what's going on Thursday? Thursday they got karaoke. Friday they got battle bots. That's what's going on at the nerd bar. Mr.
Come down to Mr. 321.
I'm laughing. It'd be so great. I'm excited the draft is tonight. I love the draft. I've told you this for years. It doesn't feel like sexy. There's not a lot of like pizzazz to it. Now, there could be, 7 Hall of Famers in this draft. It doesn't feel like it's really an exciting draft. What about you as a guy that, you're breaking it down and you're covering it?
Yeah, it is. It's a little blasé because, like last year, there were 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. You're not going to see that this year. Cam Ward seems to be everybody's clear choice as the top quarterback. Of course, Travis Hunter, but you don't know what you're getting with Travis Hunter. I'll say this. Yes, he won the Heisman. He had a great year. In his 2 years at Colorado, I think they were 13 and 12. So, obviously the rest of the team wasn't all that great. Also, what type of top tier teams was Travis Hunter really competing against? So there's a lot of unknowns with him. He's brash. He wears the sunglasses. He's taken on Deion's personality. He says he wants to play for both sides or he's just going to quit or something silly like that. He's not going to do that. But, so he brings the only flash. And then after that, Mark, it looks like you're going to get maybe a quarterback taken third, maybe not, an offensive lineman taken fourth. The Jaguars will do something, potentially. No, they have new leadership, so I'll give them credit. I was going to say they're going to do something wrong with it, but maybe they won't for once. So it's not like you look at that top 10 and go, man, this is going to be something. Who is this person going to go here or there? It's like, oh, the Patriots took an offensive lineman at number 4. Hooray. So it doesn't have some of that panache that it had last year. But hey, like you said, some of these guys are just solid players. And, it's a fairly deep draft talent-wise. There's just, you don't have that name out there, like, let's say DJ Lagway lights up the world again this year for the Gators. Going into the draft, he's going to be one of those splashy guys. It's DJ Lagway. But, you really don't have a lot of that this year.
We're at Tim Walters, Florida Today. I like you said, Hunter is brash, and he's wearing sunglasses as you're talking with a shirt that says Mr. 321. That's my favorite part about that.
I wish I had a pair of those Macho Man Randy Savage glasses that say Mr. 321 on them.
Sounds like Santa might have to get you that later in the year. I like this.
Yeah.
All right. I want to go over this story with you real quick. I know we're going long, but I appreciate coming on.
Sure.
Okay. So satellite high school baseball. You don't have to break down, what's their relief pitching look like for today. No, I'm not asking you that. So they had to go to Key West High School to play baseball in a postseason matchup on a school day, a work day. So I know they're playing today, so it's best of 3. I believe later today they're going to play the game 3 deciding game to move on in the playoffs. If you are a parent, why was it at least played on Saturday and Sunday? Like, what? You told us the story once, I think you were in college in Gainesville, where you and your knucklehead friends drove from Gainesville in one car all the way to Key West. You know what it is? My brain doesn't even compute. So people grow up in Key West. They have children. Those children go to school. There are schools. So you have kids that go to school at Key West High School. Like, that's a thing. Who do they play in their division? Who do they play? Teams in Miami? Or do they play teams from Cuba? How does this work? I have so many questions. I don't understand. If you were a parent, if your daughter was like, Dad, we got to play Key West High School on Tuesday. What would you say to her? What would you do? I have so many questions. The floor is yours, buddy.
I would tell my boss I'm taking the next 4 days off and I'm going to the Keys, my man. I love going to Key West. My wife and I have made that trip several times. And it is, I mean, look, if you've got the day to go down and do it and you take the 6 or 7 hours to get there, it's a beautiful drive, the turquoise waters. But look, there's one way in and one way out. And from here, you got to go down. I think the best way is you take 95, you switch over to the turnpike over at Fort Pierce, and then you're going to go to, what's that? It goes past where the Tampa Bay or where the Florida Panthers play, the Sawgrass Expressway. Then you got to get south to Florida City. Then you finally enter the Keys. Then you're back on US 1 again, and you're just going through the Keys. It takes a long time, but it's a great drive. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool opportunity for Satellite High School. I hope they do great down there. A friend of mine, his son actually lives down there with his ex-wife. I believe they're on Isla Mirada, which is pretty close to Key West. They do travel soccer. So this kid sometimes has to drive up to other ports of Florida. Sometimes they have to fly to like San Diego, and they're making their first trip to Spain. His son is a very talented soccer player. So when you live down there in the Keys, everything is a haul, and obviously you gotta have a pretty decent bank account to live down there as well.
All right, the way you set that up by your friend or whoever this person is, it sounds like it's some type of like 1980s sitcom. All right, I had to move down to the Keys and I'm opening a business, but I have to do it with my ex-wife, right? Like that's what this sounds like. What so stupid.
They're going to open up their own Key West bar called the Shots and Giggles.
Whoa. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to start a new life. There's one problem. The kicker is your ex-wife is your business partner. No. Played by Sybil Shepherd. That's what it would be. I'm laughing. Yeah, they're going to play game 3 today. Yeah, I don't. Okay, one thing. Oh, me and my wife are driving out of the Keys. You made it sound so nice. All right. Drive a bus full of a bunch of teenagers. There's 20 of them. You got to drive 7 hours to get there. That doesn't sound fun. No, it doesn't.
I was a part of that once, Mark, because in 8th grade, our trip used to be down to Key West. I went to Divine Mercy Catholic School, which is now shuttered on Merritt Island. But every year, that would be the end of the year trip. They would raise money all year, and then they would take 2 bus loads of kids down to the Keys. It was Big Pine Key, which is kind of near Key West as well. It's pretty far into the Keys. And we would do sea camp. And I remember how rowdy. They weren't buses. We had 2 vans back then, 2 extended vans. So they had to put about, 20 kids between 2 vans. And I remember how rowdy it was. And we were on the rowdier van. So at one point, my dad, who was the chaperone, he was the fun guy. They actually switched him and the teacher. And I remember the teacher being on our van to try and calm us down. And he tried teaching us the lyrics to The Gambler by Kenny Rogers.
What a great role model. You know what? We've gone like about 40 minutes. This is the demo tape we send to make this a national podcast. This is the one right here. It is. All right. Good luck to the Scorpions today. Satellite High School, we're going to be rooting for you for baseball. Finally, the Magic. I don't know what to say after a while. They're down 2-0. I think they're trying to just beat up the Celtics, trying to injure all their players. That's what it feels. Did you see the Porzingis where blood's gushing from his head? Did you see this last night?
Hey, the Magic are tougher, but the Celtics are better. What can you do? Nobody expected the Magic to win. The Magic, I think I said this before the season, Mark, with Banchero and Wagner, you've got a great duo, but it seems like all NBA teams now have 3 guys, and they don't kind of have that third component. Look, they stuck around in the first half. They played well in the first and second quarter. They seem to always come out of halftime a little bit flat, and that's been one of the things that's haunted them this year, even when their guys have been healthy. They fall behind a little bit in the third quarter. They played a lot better in the fourth, but ultimately you lose by 9. What can you do? But yeah, if you're going to lose to the defending champs, I want some elbows. I want it to look like they have been in a brawl at Prairie Dog in it.
Yeah, Prairie Dog in it. Yeah, if you're the Celtics, I'm not kidding around. You better survive the Magic, and you better be healthy because you're not here for a first round. You're here to go win another NBA championship. And if you're not at full power against and I feel bad saying this, when they go take on a real team another contender, they better be at full strength or they're in trouble and they'll get knocked out. That's what it is. The Magic, hey, you're right. You got Paolo, you got Franz. You got to build around those two guys with actual shooters, guys that can actually score. They have no guards. Like, and I like those guys. I like Suggs. I like Cole Anthony. I like these guys, but they need upgrades if they're going to compete in the Eastern Conference. It's bad. Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Look, when was the last time, Mark? Can you think about when the last time that they lured a good, high-priced free agent to Orlando? The problem is it doesn't happen anymore. And it's like everyone wants to play for LA and Miami and New York and Boston. If you could get somebody who looks at Paolo Banchero and says, if I play with that guy, I can win a championship. You need to get that caliber of a player. Heck, maybe how can we get Giannis Antetokounmpo to let his contract expire and come down here? I've heard them say he might go to Miami. Why not come to Orlando? My God, a guy like that playing down here, I'd love to see that happen.
I feel like if I'm the front office, Paolo and Franz are safe. I'm listening for everyone else. I'm sorry. I feel bad again. And the worst losses, and I say worst loss because you're on national TV. It's the playoffs. It's put up or shut up time. They don't have Tatum. And you didn't win. That game was for the taking. You couldn't get it done. All right. I just want to say this to you. You do a great job with the Florida Today. You really do. And I know I had John Torres on earlier in the week, and his reporting on that Murder on the Space Coast podcast, that was phenomenal journalism. But you as well. I know you work very hard. I know we joke around, Mr. 321, and yes, that is your name. You and everyone at Florida State, you guys do a great job. So I appreciate all your help. I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy the draft tonight, buddy.
No, Mark, I appreciate that. I always appreciate the forum, and you're right. We do have a lot of fun here, but journalism truly matters. John Torres helped a man who's been in prison for more than 2 decades gain his freedom, and it's the second time John Torres has done that to help another human being. And there are a lot of other people that go into making that happen. So local journalism matters. Look, I know I'm in kind of the playground in sports, but you talk about Satellite High School. Today, we have our first ever all Space Coast girls wrestling team. This is our first year where we've had enough programs to do that. We recognize all of these student athletes. We tell these stories. You know, last week we were down at Florida Tech, and then I'm going to be with you next week at Florida Tech, where we're going to be doing a media tour down there. So we are telling the stories of Brevard County. Look, we're not Orlando where you have all of these TV stations covering you. They send some people over to cover us, but people like you, Mark, people like me, we tell the story of our wonderful Space Coast here, of our 700,000 roughly residents. And so I appreciate that you let me to come on here and talk with you about it. And, you know, we talk about some other things. People probably learn a little bit about history of Brevard County from people like us who have been here for a long time, especially I'm Mr. 321. People may not know. I've been here since 1981, you know, left for college and my first job and came back because I love it here. So I will always be here to help you out in any way I can, as I know you will be for me, Mark. So thank you.
Very well said. Yeah, he's Tim Walters. I'm Mark Moses. Don't forget to join us tonight at Walk On Sports Bistreaux there in Vieira for our draft party. Have a great day, and we'll recap the draft tomorrow here on the Mark Moses Show.